All right, so I've been thinking about the EFT negative cycle and how, in couples therapy, there's this infinity symbol. I have it on my necklace because I try to always remember that the cycle is the cycle is the cycle. And I've been thinking about how that relates to our relationship with God. So in a couples therapy, it's like somebody's the pursuer and somebody's the withdrawer. And when we are feeling threatened by the pursuer who's like attacking us with their frustration or their shaming, we feel insecure or we feel scared or we feel ashamed, and then we retreat. And when we retreat, we make the pursuer person feel like they're all alone, they can't get what they need. Um, Maybe they feel shame for even having the needs, and then they pursue further, and it's just like this never ending negative cycle. And the way to get out of it is when both parties start talking vulnerably about how they feel underneath their action tendencies, so the pursuing or the withdrawing. Now, when I was thinking about the relationship with God, I was thinking, I had this hypothesis, and I've been testing it out on myself and my husband and my friends. And the hypothesis is that the relationships, the main attachment figures that we had growing up, we project that onto God. God is never like our parents. He's like them in some ways, but if we had an emotionally distant father and we assume that God is emotionally distant, then we might feel like we are all alone inside. And then when we are all alone inside, we might use numbing techniques like TV or drugs or alcohol or people to feel better, to not feel so alone, to numb out. And I imagine, like, I don't know this for sure, but I could ask God, when I meet him someday, hopefully, underneath my perception of him, what does he actually feel? And I get this sense that whether I am withdrawing or I'm mad at him or something, he just feels like he just wants to be close and he loves me. And when I act in that like self-destructive way, I think he might feel like really bad for me. Like there's this empathy. Or let's do another example. Let's say you project onto God that like the little things in your life don't matter to God. Like there's just bigger things in God's realm that matter more. So you don't matter as much. And so then you feel like God doesn't care. So then you just feel kind of frustrated, like things aren't going the way you want. And then you go and take matters in your own hands and you try and control everything the way you want it to be. And I imagine underneath that, like God does actually care about those little things. But if we feel like he doesn't, we never get to tell him how we feel. Like, I'm feeling insecure about this thing I'm pursuing. How do you feel about it, Lord? And he says, I think he says, it matters to me. You know, I love you. Come close to me. I'm here with you. I'm here to guide you. I want to be in it with you. I'm using it right now to shape you. Like that frustration you feel is part of the character building I have for you. So how often are we just reacting to God based on like what we think is going on with him or what we assume? Like I'm getting the sense like around me, like a lot of people have like this like God is far away doing something else. Like he's not right here with me in it. Or if he is in it, like surely he doesn't care about this or that, or there's this area in my life I could never bring up with him because he's just gonna like let me have it. He's gonna be really angry with me, and so then we keep it from him, and I think he's just waiting there, like, you can tell me anytime now. I've just been here waiting. It's you that hasn't opened up your heart, and then we wonder why we feel depressed or anxious or alone or so angry. I think to get back into that positive cycle, we just have to either imagine what God is feeling inside toward us, or just start telling him how we feel, and then listen. What do you think he's saying? I'm not saying like you actually have to hear him, but like what do you know in the Bible that he says? Like he loves us. He loves us. He loves us. He loves us. And he wants us to live pure and holy and loving lives. And so, yeah, he might have something to say about the way we're coping, but underneath, he loves us and he feels he has a heart for those who suffer. He came so for us, the ones that are suffering. So that's just my thought I've been having on the negative cycle. You might want to think about how you might be seeing God with faulty perception, and maybe start telling God how that makes you feel, and see if you can allow God's love into that place in a deeper way. It will heal the past stuff that you've been through in some ways, and it will also make God feel more available and accessible to you. But you actually have to do the work of being vulnerable, even though it's really scary. And that's it. That's what I've been thinking about. Have a great day.